my goodness. The backlash on DiJonai Carrington. DiJonai Carrington is gone nuclear at this point.
Did DiJonai Carrington just cross a line that the WNBA can't afford to ignore any longer? We're not just talking about tough defense or gritty play. This is a full-blown pattern of dirty moves that now includes one of the wildest fouls the league has seen. From grabbing opponents by their hair to swiping at eyes mid-game, Carrington isn't just on a slippery slope. She's face-first skiing down it.
Done things this season that will get her disqualified from MMA fights. She has done things this season that will get her disqualified from MMA fights. This is a bad look for the league. It is a bad look for the league that every game, the referees are turning a blind eye to something that would potentially get them disqualified from an MMA fight. This would have got her disqualified if she was in the octagon.
The most recent incident has fans calling for something way more serious than a fine. We're talking suspension. We're talking permanent ban territory. The wildest part, it's actually in the rules, and it's just a question whether or not the commissioner will enforce it. We'll break that more down later. If you believe DiJonai deserves a ban, then comment "Fire the Eye Poker" down below. Let's go.
Check this out right here. As she grabs a player by the ponytail, yanks her to the ground.
Let's rewind for a second. Remember when she nearly took down her own teammate, Paige Beckers, with a reckless hit that had coaches holding their breath? Or how about that cheap shot on Jessica Shepard that was borderline flagrant? Then to Caitlin Clark, a rising rookie and already the face of the Indiana Fever, taking a swipe to the eye from none other than Carrington herself. The footage exists, and it's brutal. The intent? Hard to deny. It's starting to feel less like basketball and more like WWE auditions.
Claw to the eye, hit to the head, yank pull. And by the way, that's her 3 of her last 5 games. Those 3 have happened in her last 5 games. She also undercut Skylar Diggins in those last 5 games. Getting Caitlin Clark in the eye, getting Sabrina.
Here's where the red flags start waving. DiJonai Carrington has now racked up 3 official flagrant fouls in just a month. 3. And that's not counting the 2 additional uncalled fouls that fans and analysts agree were clearly just as bad. At this point, the math writes the story. This isn't a coincidence, it's a pattern. So the million-dollar question becomes, what is the WNBA going to do about it? Or better yet, will they do anything at all?
I mean, not only is the WNBA covering for players like this, they're doing these egregious things on the court that is not physical play. It's dirty play with a big fat D. Some of these players wouldn't know nothing about that. Anyway, with a big fat D, it's dirty. All right? And my God... and then when you call them out, the said player starts attacking fans.
The league has a rule. Too many flagrants, and you face an automatic suspension. But we're past too many now. We're into what more do you need territory. Player safety is supposed to be sacred. If the WNBA wants to grow its viewership and keep stars like Caitlin Clark safe, they have to show that there are real consequences for reckless behavior. And yet, so far, Carrington's been skating by with little more than side-eye and silence.
There's not a world
if she would have had extension
where that is not premeditated, pre-planned. She looked up. She said, "Oh, look at that!
Whoa!
Look at that ponytail. Yeah, let me yank. How about I keep it real? Let me yank the white girl to the ground. There we go. There, it's out."
Let's start with the foul that finally blew the lid off this situation: the infamous hair pull. In the third quarter of a heated matchup between the Dallas Wings and the Los Angeles Sparks, Carrington grabbed Sarah Ashley Barker by the hair and yanked her to the floor like it was tug-of-war recess at elementary school. The arena gasped. The replays were undeniable. The foul was so blatant that even the slow-mo looked aggressive.
DiJonai, DiJonai, you're always in a dirty play. DiJonai, DiJonai. Once again, here we are today. Oh, DiJonai, DiJonai.
And what did the refs call it? A loose ball foul. Not a flagrant. Not even a technical. Just a little slap on the wrist like nothing happened. Commentators were flabbergasted. If those were extensions, they'd be on the hardwood right now, one analyst quipped. Social media lit up like Times Square. The Brick Center posted the clip with a caption that summed up the mood of the moment. How is this not an ejection?
But I think a referee knowingly allowing and turning a blind eye to players putting other players in danger should never be allowed to ref again. And I think this is just like the Kennedy Carter tip check last year. The referees, and this is the worst part of this, they saw it and did nothing about it.
The response from fans was volcanic. Twitter, Reddit, Instagram, every corner of the internet was screaming the same thing. This is dangerous, and it can't be allowed to continue. One radio caller put it best, this isn't hustle. This is someone treating the court like a back alley.
Look, I don't condone fighting on the court, but this team has a real issue. This league has a real issue getting their own teammates' backs. It feels like so many of these players are all out for themselves, and it is wild.
It wasn't just about the hair pull. People started pulling receipts. They brought up the undercuts, the elbows, the late hits. Carrington had become a walking highlight reel of questionable plays. And not the fun kind, the dirty kind. The kind that makes fans ask, why hasn't the league stepped in yet?
Criticism justified. Get her off the court. Hey, this person, Kathy Engelbert, you're the problem. Since you seem to think this kind of play is acceptable, not to this play, but many others, you should be held accountable when someone is seriously injured. And it's going to happen. Carrington is reckless, and there's plenty of video that shows, there's plenty of evidence.
Which brings us to the real issue, the WNBA's silence. In just a month, Carrington leads the league in flagrant fouls. That's not just a stat, that's a headline. And yet, the league hasn't said a word. No statement, no fine, no suspension. It's like they're hoping if they pretend not to see it, it'll go away.
DiJonai Carrington, you are the dirtiest dirtbag of them all. Dirty play, DiJonai Carrington. DiJonai, dirty play, Carrington. We can even turn it into a song.
But it won't. Not with Caitlin Clark on the receiving end. Clark is the face of the new generation, and she's being swiped at, elbowed, and shoved around like she wandered into the wrong gym. If anything happens to Clark because the league refuses to act, it won't just be a scandal. It'll be a full-blown crisis. The narrative is shifting. Fans aren't just mad at Carrington anymore. They're starting to question the league's integrity. Can you really promote a no room for hate campaign when you allow this kind of conduct to go unchecked? Is this the example you want to set for the next generation of young women watching?
She has been on a crime spree. That's right, folks. She has been on a crime spree, robbing the WNBA blind, masquerading as a professional basketball player, when in reality, she is just a reckless athlete that understands the concept of basketball.
DiJonai Carrington is now one of the most controversial names in the WNBA. Some fans say she plays with passion. Others say she plays like she's got a vendetta. But whatever side you fall on, one thing is crystal clear. This isn't about style anymore, it's about safety. And if the league doesn't make a move soon, then the only people who will be banned are the fans choosing not to watch.
Grab onto something, realized it was the hair, and yanked. She went back down faster as soon as she grabbed the hair. Like, come on. Like, at what stage does the WNBA have to step in? Because the WNBA are rescinding technical fouls on a player who should already be suspended. DiJonai Carrington has committed 4 blatant flagrant fouls this year, and 1 that was 50-50 that got rescinded.
Let's rewind to one of the most unsettling moments from last season. A moment that still has fans fuming and analysts scratching their heads. Caitlin Clark, the WNBA's brightest rising star, was bringing the ball up the court. When out of nowhere, DiJonai Carrington reached in and swiped right across her face. The cameras caught everything. Her fingers grazed Clark's eye in a way that left no doubt about the contact. Clark instantly winced and grabbed her face. It was a moment that didn't just stop the game, it stopped everyone watching in their tracks.
As everyone else is seeing this angle, I'm calling her in and I'm saying to her, I need answers.
This wasn't your typical hard foul or hustle play gone wrong. This was a direct hit to the eye of the league's most talked about player. Sports channels and online clips slowed the replay down frame by frame, highlighting the stretch of Carrington's hand the contact, and Clark's stunned reaction. It sparked immediate outcry, and the debate wasn't if it happened. It was whether it was intentional and what kind of penalty, if any, should follow.
Caitlin Clark was so lucky with how hard she got hit in the eye. She was so lucky. And by the way, I still believe DiJonai Carrington tried to hit Caitlin Clark in the head.
Carrington tried to brush it off as an unfortunate moment of defensive intensity, but fans weren't buying it. The slow-motion replays, the exact hand positioning, and the timing, it all painted a very different picture.
When you went and kind of swatted at Caitlin, did you intend to hit her in the eye? And if so, could you just, or if not, either way, could you talk about what happened on that play?
I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. But no, I didn't. I didn't know I hit her, actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through and I hit her. So obviously it's never intentional. That's not even like the type of player that I am.
Social media lit up with outrage. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere you looked, people were calling it what it was, a dangerous and reckless play. It wasn't just about the impact, it was about the intent. And based on the video, a lot of viewers saw intent all over it.
We've now got normal NBA fans. You have got normal NBA fans, like, talking about DiJonai Carrington.
Caitlin Clark didn't respond with words, as usual. She stayed quiet, let her game do the talking. But her body language told the truth. The normally composed and unshakable Clark looked rattled. For someone who gets targeted constantly and keeps her cool, even this shook her. And that's when people really started demanding action. The timing couldn't have been worse or more revealing. Clark's presence in the league has opened the doors to millions of new fans. She's bringing attention, ratings, and revenue. And yet, despite being the face of this surge, she's being physically targeted with little to no repercussions. That eye poke was just the latest in a string of dangerous encounters, and fans were done watching it get ignored.
Yeah, I mean, this will be a better angle of it. I think we'll be able to see how hard the foul is right here. That's a hard foul, and she does get her in the face when she's coming down with her hand.
Pretty soon, video compilations of Carrington's history began resurfacing. Not just the eye rake, but the ponytail grab, the undercuts, the headshots. It all came back into focus. It wasn't just a bad night or a single moment of frustration. It was a pattern. The narrative was no longer about a split-second foul. It was about whether the WNBA was enabling a repeat offender. Analysts joined the chorus, asking tough questions. If Clark, the league's biggest draw, could be assaulted on the court and the WNBA stayed quiet, what did that say about their commitment to player safety? Where were the statements, the fines, the suspensions? The silence from the top only made the frustration louder.
It is a very relevant topic because now you have got posts going viral in the general basketball world, and this type of stuff is just a bad look for the league. It is a bad look for the league. It is. This type of stuff is a bad look for the league.
The discussion quickly shifted. It wasn't just Carrington who was under fire, it was the leadership. Cathy Engelbert's name kept coming up. Specifically, her refusal to directly address Carrington's behavior. Carrington had racked up 3 confirmed flagrant fouls in just a few weeks, and by some counts, 2 more that should have been flagged. Still, no public statement, no fine, no suspension, just business as usual, and fans noticed. They started calling Engelbert out, accusing her of favoring select players over upholding rules that supposedly protect everyone.
The Engelbert, you're the problem. Since you seem to think this kind of play is acceptable, not to this play, but many others, you should be held accountable when someone is seriously injured. And it's going to happen.
One of the sharpest criticisms came from longtime analyst Mark Jackson, who didn't mince words. He said outright, if the WNBA won't enforce its own rules, what message are they sending? That comment was echoed across sports talk shows, Reddit threads, and YouTube live streams. More and more voices started saying the same thing. Either Carrington gets suspended, or the league loses its credibility.
Literally, the referee saw her take someone out in the air, went to the monitors, was like, this is a dangerous play, it's a flagrant, and they overruled the refs on the monitors. The league has the league are putting players in danger. The league does not care about player safety. They don't care about player safety. And by the way, why would DiJonai care about player safety? Why would she care if the league doesn't care? The legal defender, anything negative said about DiJonai Carrington in the media, anything negative, you're going to see a post from the WNBA saying, we call BS about this thing. Anything negative in the media about DiJonai Carrington, the WNBA are going to make a post. The WNBA are going to make a post.
This wasn't just social media noise. Former players and sports writers added their voices too. The chorus grew. The WNBA was facing its biggest image crisis in years. If a role player like Carrington can repeatedly cross the line with zero meaningful consequences, it sends a clear signal. Star or not, rules are optional.
We do not, you can see with DiJonai Carrington, she does not have the greatest body control. She does not have good enough body control to hit someone in the eye. But I do think that she tried to smack Caitlin Clark in the head. The referee, no call. No call. Common foul. No call on the undercut of Gabby Williams. No call on the hit to Sabrina.
At the heart of all this was the question that refused to go away. Would the league act, or would they continue to protect a player many now see as a liability? A few reporters went even further, hinting that the only way to restore trust might be a season-long suspension, if not a full-blown ban. Yes, a ban. That's how serious the conversation had become. And the fact that it took this long for the WNBA to even consider it made the backlash even worse. To understand how deep this goes, you have to look beyond Carrington's on-court record. She's not just aggressive, she's consistently crossing lines in a way that puts other players at risk. Hair pulling, eye pokes, cheap shots. It's not just bad sportsmanship, it's dangerous. And now, players are talking about it. Clips of her fouls are being stitched together, shared with captions like, "Enough is enough," and "When will the league wake up?"
By the way, if the referees just did their jobs, DiJonai Carrington would have a one-game suspension, right? If the referee and the league did their jobs, DiJonai Carrington, and not for just this. And by the way, there are sports leagues in the world that, with this replay going out, will give her a one-game suspension. The NBA is one. If the referees missed it in real time, and something like this started going, not even semi-viral, but went around the league, and they're like, you know what, it's actually putting a player in danger. It's a one-game suspension.
This is more than one player acting out. This is a test of whether the WNBA can uphold the values it claims to stand for: fair play, player safety, and professionalism. And right now, the fans don't feel reassured. They feel betrayed. Every time a flagrant foul is brushed aside, it chips away at the integrity of the game. Every time the league defends the indefensible, it drives away new fans who tuned in to watch history, not a highlight reel of dirty plays. And with Caitlin Clark at the center of this media storm, the stakes couldn't be higher. She's not just a player, she's a movement, a generational talent who's brought women's basketball into living rooms across the country. The idea that someone can target her repeatedly without consequences, it's not just bad optics, it's bad business.
Again, if it's a disqualification in the MMA, it should be a disqualification in the WNBA. Just my opinion. If it's a disqualification in MMA, it should be a disqualification in the WNBA.
From the ponytail yank that sent a player crashing to the floor to the eye rake seen around the internet, DiJonai Carrington is becoming the face of everything the WNBA says it doesn't want to be. And the longer the league hesitates to act, the more it confirms what critics have feared all along, that they'll talk about accountability, but they won't enforce it. Now all eyes are on Cathy Engelbert. Will she finally take a stand and issue the kind of suspension that sends a message? Or will she once again choose image over integrity? The clock is ticking, and fans, new and old, are watching very closely. If you believe DiJonai deserves a ban, then comment "Fire the Eye Poker" down below. Like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss out. Click the video on the screen, and we will see you in the next one.